I'd like to tell you a story that started for me in November 2015 and with the latest edition of Wednesday when I was in Edinburgh. And it's all about, the story is all about CivTech. And it's all about driving, daring and innovation in the public sector. The project was sponsored by Colin Cook of the Digital Directorate, and it was led by the inspirational leader of Teams to Freedom, Alexander Holt, ably assisted by Mark Elliott, Riva, ex-chief executive of Digital City Business, Rui Cardoso, international business analyst, Katie Lynn, expert storyteller, looking after communications, and Joe Root, been there, done it, wearing the t-shirt entrepreneur. In November 2015, that wasn't actually the concept, as is so often the case. In 2015, the brief was written to create a digital community. It was to map the key opinion leaders of the digital community in Scotland. And this ridiculous mind map that you see in front of you, and I put the whole thing up mainly because I couldn't compress the PDF, was the fact that we mapped the investment community, the academic community, the startup community, the media community. We mapped the entire infrastructure of who we identified as key opinion leaders within the Scottish digital set. And then we set about, we mapped them, and we set about enhancing the online reputation of Digital Scotland. So these are the clumps that existed. What we then did is that we took each of the clumps and created personas around them, just so that we had an understanding as to who they were and what their motivations would be. But what we actually did is that we mapped the sort of cognitive influences, the questions that we were going to ask of them, the answers that we wanted them to have, and then the actions that were required by the team in order to move an individual down the unawareness to awareness, familiarity to consideration, and engagement to loyalty flow. We then created, to the right-hand side, a performance dashboard to track and measure the effectiveness of everything that we did. And the outcome was originally to create and enhance the online reputation of Digital Scotland. In January 2016, something quite remarkable happened. Alexander Holt got the Scottish Government to create a procurement code for innovation. Digital Scotland, or rather something, was going to replace the existing land and expand management consultancies. So this was the significant point. In January 2016, procurement within Scottish Government created a code for innovation. In March 2016, because it's all running on a timeline, Mark Elliott led the most amazing mission, vision and values workshop I've ever experienced. And he was in tune with the cognitive revolution that he more likely led 80,000 years ago, and he nailed Simon Sinek's question of why we do things. The mission was to drive tech daring and innovation in the public sector and so produce better products and services, create a more prosperous, just and equal society, and along the way, make people's lives better. Nailed it. The vision was to become the leading international centre for civic tech. The values, the mission itself, the brutal truth, honesty and straightforwardness, action with thought and intelligent risk. I tried to get myself in there somewhere. The right people, teamwork and mutual support, continuous improvement, innovation and marginal gains, intelligent collaboration, doing the right things, same inside and outside, the right things, fun and enjoyment. What a great set of values to have. And so, on an afternoon in March 2016, CivTech was born. Now, what were the vision here, the flow of what was to happen? What the thought was, is that the CivTech team would go to the Scottish government departments and ask them for challenges that they would like for them to overcome or to answer. This would then go into the whether it be from public sector, large companies, SMEs, into this think tank to explore whether these were the right ideas. There would then be applications made by a set of startups or scale-ups into an accelerator program of 100 days, where they would come out of it with an MVP, with a minimum viable product that they could then take to market because they already had their first customer. But being Scottish and entrepreneurial, they could take to the world. So this is quite a groundbreaking flow within the public sector. So the accelerator program was created and started up. The challenges were brought forward about flood forecasting for small communities and air quality monitoring through data visualization. There was the amazing sort of improving tourist destinations along the A9, which is an incredibly long road if everybody's ever driven along it. And then there's cybersecurity and homelessness. Some really interesting challenges presented by the public sector departments. But as I said again, it was that these were to answer real challenges that existed. Now, in June 2016, a wiki was created because CivTech wasn't allowed to create its own website. So a wiki was used as a location, a web location. They were physically located in a place called Codebase in Edinburgh, which is like the Scottish equivalent of GCHQ. And then they had an incredible set, a program of activity, of everything from visitors to fireside chats, which I'm going to go into more in a moment. What happened in November 16, there was obviously a transformation moment when I completed my growth hacking meets digital analytics meets dog workshop for them, which took them forward in how they should go to market with sort of brutal simplicity of thought. But through this process, there was a series of amazing fireside chats. So amazing people, Ian Ritchie, Callum Patterson, Jamie Coleman, and Andrew Murphy from Coppertop, Scottish Equity Partners, Codebase, and the John Lewis Partnership went in. But the most amazing in the picture here, I wasn't in the room at this moment, was the fact that this was the day that Gareth Williams sold Skyscanner for 1.4 billion. But that evening, he was doing a fireside chat with CivTech because that's where the future lies. Down the right-hand side is on the wall the set of visitors that have walked and talked around the accelerator room in this environment in Codebase, which is, again, the great and the good of Scottish business, society and politics. In January 2017 was Demo Day, where over 160 delegates met at the location in order for each of the accelerators to showcase their work. The guest speaker, Mr. Wheelhouse, the MSP Minister for Business, Innovation and Energy, made an amazing presentation there. But what we're doing here is that CivTech lasted for 100 days. It started in November 2015, and version 1 was wrapped up on Wednesday with a retrospective of the workshop and mentors. Version 2 is going to start early in April, and that CivTech is now seen as a shining star for Scottish innovation and digital development. And I'm going to show the video in a moment, but what I truly believe is that CivTech really did rip it up. So bear me one moment. I'm just going to go to a click.
Some of this will work, some of this won't work, and that's a good thing.
It's about reaching out, making ourselves more open, and embracing the potential for new ideas.
One moment.
For me, that's the kind of really exciting bit of...
I'm just going to move that one. Bear me one moment. Always got a little bit of tech. Okay. I think... okay, bear me a sec. Here we go. I think that's going to be the better one.
What Civtech's doing. The first 15
I'm going to rewind it
so
so that you get the full impact.
Some of this will work, some of this won't work, and that's a good thing.
It's about reaching out, making ourselves more open, and embracing the potential for new ideas.
For me, that's the kind of really exciting bit of what Civtech's doing. The first 15 or 20 of them were nothing here nor there. And then one came up. I just went, wow.
I think the prime element is to make a public body like SEPA more accessible to smaller organisations, individuals and partnerships, people that don't normally get involved.
We've got a mixture of sole traders, new businesses, albeit with experienced people, and established businesses.
So there's real potential here, quite profound potential, around how the government does its business.
How to run a business, how you go about things, the networking opportunities.
Brilliant. You know, they were clearly run by subject matter experts. There were one or two speakers who came who were just mind-blowing.
It places the citizen at the heart, I think, has helped shape our product, made it a better product.
I'm a, long-in-the-tooth salesperson, and I know to get access to the kind of people that we had access to, it could have taken me 5-10 years to actually phone and perhaps not have achieved that contact.
Getting to hear from Gareth Williams on the day he sold Skyscanner was certainly something I wasn't expecting when I walked through the door in September.
There are journalists out there who would have chewed their arms off to be in that room that evening.
That environment sharing is massively important.
We have just hugely leapt forward. It's been people talk about roller coaster rides. The only thing for us is that we haven't had the down bit.
The end result has just been fantastic. It's remarkable. I think it's just amazing what's happened.
It was a whole new experience.
Exciting, scary, daring.
Dynamic, hard work, challenging.
Totally groundbreaking.
Demanding, but awesome.
Just do it.
Wow. At the retrospective on Wednesday, I was lucky to be part of the programme from November 2015 and to see it through in its first execution, and now to be... So the reason why Alexander can't be here today or can't be on Skype for the chit-chat is the fact that he's presenting version 2 to the political elite in the First Minister's office. So this is something that is radically changing the way in which digital Scotland and transformation within Scotland is taking place. And Ken Nicholson said, this could transform Scotland. So this is a big initiative that is changing the way in which to do it. And I have to go back to the one thing in January 2016 when procurement in Scotland created a code for innovation. So that's Civtech, that's the story, and thank you very much.